Hi Prenda Guides, this is Katie, and today we're going to do an overview of the K2 Create mode. Here is a quick overview of the weekly rotation. You don't have to stick to this. This is just a starting place for you. So Monday, picture and composer study. Tuesday, hands-on art. Wednesday, imagination station. Thursday, choose your own adventure writing. They don't have to go in this order. You don't have to do them all every week. If you have other things that you feel like fit into this create mode, feel free to throw them in and please share it with us. So the first idea is picture and composer study. The purpose of this activity is to expose students to the beautiful art and music that has influenced the world. It's not a time to memorize artists, composers, dates, places, or works of art. It's simply to enjoy and be affected by the creative works of others. This is really just a time for your kids to notice things and to listen to things and to feel things and to enjoy. So this is how you do it. And just so you know, this is taken from a very classic educational philosophy called Charlotte Mason. Charlotte Mason was an educator 100 years ago or so. And she has some really wonderful methodologies and things that she focuses attention on that have really helped so many people have more joy in their life and to notice the beauty in the world around us. And I think that's really important for these K2 kids especially. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go on Pinterest and search for Prenda Picture Study. You're going to want to follow that handle. And when you do that, a bunch of artists will come up. And I'll show you. Okay, so here's what it looks like. So this one's about Claude Monet. So you'll see a picture of the artist, and then this is a little bio that you can read to the students. And then there's a bunch of their most famous works. This is just a sampling. There's lots of them on the actual page. And then there's also a few different ideas for art projects that would go with Claude Monet's style or something about his life. They just kind of match. So this is a great resource for you. What you can do is have the child choose which one kind of speaks to him or her the most, and then you double click on that and then double click on it again, and then even again, it will take you to the main source, and then you can make it really large. You're going to be displaying this on either a large computer or a TV and controlling it from your computer. And we can show you how to do that if you need help. Okay, so you put the picture up and you invite the students to look at the picture quietly. After about 2 minutes, you take the picture off of the screen, and then you let each student take a turn saying something they remember about the painting. So they just go around the circle and they'll say like, oh, the picture was of a train, or there was a lot of smoke in the picture, or there was a boy and he was wearing a red hat, or something like that. Just any little detail that they remember, they'll share. And you can even go around again and see how many details about this picture you can kind of recreate as a group. And then you're going to turn the picture on again for a few minutes and let the students look at it again and see if they were right. Was that boy's shirt red? Was he wearing a hat? Was there really a train? Then they can kind of check their memories. And this teaches them to be really attentive to details and to learn to remember things, which is a very, very important skill. But it's a very fun way to train your brain to be able to pay attention to details through art. You can also talk about the way that the painting made them feel, if they liked the colors, all sorts of those things. Okay, so after you check your memory, you can even have the kids open their journals and try to sketch the picture. And obviously, they're not going to be phenomenal sketches, right? But you can encourage them to try to mimic the painting as closely as they can. Like if there were two boys, draw two stick figures. It doesn't really matter what it looks like. We're not going for high quality art in these sketches, but it's just a way for them to record that picture and another way for them to internalize it. So they can do that, and then they can write something about what they liked about the picture, or their favorite detail that they remembered, or if they like the colors. And then you can move on to doing a hands-on art project that has to do with that artist. And we recommend that for both picture study and composer study that you stick with the same artist for a few weeks. You don't have to read their bio every time you talk about them, but look at a different picture by them, and the students will gradually get a sense for that artist's style. And it will be amazing too, over time, when you go back and show them something, they'll say things like, oh, that looks like a Claude Monet. And it'll make your kids sound like they've spent a lot of time in art museums, like wondering and pondering about art, which is really fun for them and fun for parents and fun for guides to see these kids just enjoying art. So there's the K-2nd. Okay, and then composer study. The goal of composer study is to expose the students to a variety of musical styles and familiarize them with the men and women who have made influential contributions to music throughout history. Again, this is not a time to have the kids memorizing dates or places or people. It's just a time for them to enjoy and to learn to love beautiful things. Because if you think about it, there's very few opportunities for children today to be exposed to great works of music, and we really want their education to be really well-rounded and to have them have this opportunity to study, and by study I mean listen to and enjoy casually a wide variety of classic composers and non-classic composers too. We intend to build this resource out until the variety of music that is included is very expansive. Our only guideline is that the music should not have words. This shouldn't be about lyrics or what the song says. It should be about the music. So that's our one guideline. And if you have a favorite composer that we have not included in the program yet, like let us know what your favorite works of theirs are, and we will build it into the program. So the way that you access this resource that we've made is you go to the Prenda YouTube page or channel, and there will be a bunch of composer playlists. The names of the playlists will always be the composer's name and dash Prenda composers. And I'll show you that in just a second. So you just introduce the composer to your students. You can even look up where they are from and when they lived. You can print out a picture of them, put them on your timeline, things like that. You can, and then you just put the playlist on that we've made on YouTube. And you want to play it for a week or 2 or 3 or a whole month, so the kids really get familiar with that artist, and they'll start recognizing the songs, and they'll say like, oh, everyone be quiet, this is my favorite part. And they'll be really excited about it. And it's so fun to see them grow like that. So this is what it looks like on YouTube. You can see along the left there, those are the playlists. And right here, you can see this one's about Beethoven. There's another one about Chopin and Haydn. And that will just keep on growing. And then these are the songs. So you just click on one of those and let it play through. And you don't just sit and listen to the music. You can put it on while you're doing art, put it on while you're doing different activities. You can play it while the kids are coming in the mornings after you've introduced the composer. Just any opportunity where they're just kind of working on something, to play it in the background is great. Okay, the next activity is hands-on art. And that is exactly what it sounds like. These are just art projects. And there's 2 different ways you can do this. You can pull from the Pinterest picture study resource that matches your artist that you're studying. And then there's also another YouTube, on the Prenda YouTube channel, there's another playlist called Prenda YouTube Art Lessons. And there's just a bunch of videos there of different art projects, and you can even just pull them up and let the kids watch them. They're like little how-to videos. There's someone drawing, there's someone painting. You can do sculpting with Play-Doh, you can do silk carving, you can do weaving, like all sorts of different art. And we're going to continue to build that resource out for different ideas. And if you find something, please send it to us and we'll include it. Yeah, so that's hands-on art, pretty simple. Here's what the YouTube page looks like. There's lots of different little activities for them to do. Prenda Art Lessons down here. Good. Okay. Activity number 3 is called Imagination Station, and the purpose of this is to give students an opportunity for creative problem solving and hands-on building. So there's an Imagination Station prompt that will be, it's a resource, it's a document that has a bunch of problems that the kids need to solve, and that will be linked in the description below. You'll need to ask parents to save their recycling and to donate tape. You're gonna need a lot of tape and string and things like that. So you just pick a prompt. I like to cut these strips out. Here's what it looks like. I like to cut the strips out and put them in a cup and have one of the kids draw it out of the cup, so it's totally random and it's like a little mystery. It's fun. So there's lots of different options and they're pretty funny. My favorite one is, you were invited to a fancy hat party, but all your hats have been eaten by snakes. Build a hat that will be sure to get you into the party. So just lots of good building things, gives the kids a creative outlet and also problem solving. And it's really good for building fine motor skills. They're cutting and gluing and trying to figure out how to tie things. And they're always really proud of what they made. And here is an example. These are my boys. This prompt, whoopsies, there we go. This was to make lava shoes, and one of these boys lucked out and found some Kleenex boxes, and the other one spent 45 minutes trying to make lava shoes, and it did not work out, and he just did some divergent thinking and said that he was going to make a fan that fanned the lava away. So that was his solution to the problem. Both very great. Okay, so here is activity number 4. It says Choose Your Own Adventure Writers Workshop. So the purpose is to give students an opportunity to create their own stories, to practice writing, penmanship, basic grammar, and sounding words out. There's a Prenda Story Starter resource, which will be linked below as well. If your students need help getting started, here's what that looks like. They're just little story starters, so it's just meant to spark their imagination, and they will use their journals to record these stories. And it's going to look very different depending on the writing levels of your kids, and I'm kind of going to go over a few different ways you can help them. So young kindergartners might need to just draw the pictures of their story, and then they can tell you their story, and you can write it for them underneath their pictures if you have time to do that. They can also just try to write the first letter of each word in their sentence. So they're listening to the word and thinking, what sound is that and what letter makes that sound? Trying to apply some of their basic letter knowledge, depending on where they are in that journey. So no matter what, allow creative spelling. Students should be thinking of words and doing their best to sound them out and write them. Don't be overly corrective, and encourage them to try sounding it out for themselves. We'll address spelling later when they're a little older, but right now the thing their brains need to do is to listen to a word and try to hear the sounds within that word, because you can't ever learn to spell something correctly if your auditory cortex in your brain can't hear the sounds within words. So even if they're not spelling things correctly, their brains are still being stretched in this way, and it's really good. Like I said, we'll focus on spelling later, and correct spelling actually comes a lot easier as you learn the phonograms in the Treasure Hunt reading program, and reading real books and just exposure to language in general builds really strong spellers. Okay. And then more advanced students can practice basic grammar things like, you should start a sentence with a capital, and there should be a period at the end, and other little punctuation things that you can point out to them when you think they're ready. But they're going to get all of that when they're older in No Red Ink in the 3rd through 8th model. So don't stress about that. You can definitely be encouraging them to try to write their letters correctly, though. That's something that they can definitely work on in this activity. And then definitely give them the opportunity to share if they want to. Don't make them share. Some people don't like to share, but you can even make a movie of them reading their story and send it to their parents. And you can also work on this over multiple days. You don't just have to write a story all at once. It's going to take them some time. So maybe you can take 2 days during this time and work on their stories for 2 or 3 days. And then you can move on to a different activity when you're done with that.
Those are all the Create activities. If you have any questions, please reach out to your guide guru. Thanks.